Sean from Rainier Arms, and today we have another New Products Weekly video. First product I want to talk about today is a pretty cool one because it's a product that we collabed with, but it's not necessarily brand new, but a kind of aspect of it is brand new, and that is the Rainier Arms Lone Wolf Arms Dusk 19R compensated 9mm pistol. So what's different about this is now we are offering it with a black slide, which personally I like a lot better. I think overall it's just a more clean, sleek look. So I'm pretty excited to finally have these in. It's already a very popular handgun. So sorry to those who purchased the silver slide and now you need a black slide, but we got them in stock for you. So awesome collaboration between, again, Rainier Arms and Lone Wolf Arms. They've done a great job with their Dusk 19. And then having this Dusk 19R has just been a pure joy for us. So take a look at that. That right there is the big difference. This is what kind of sets this gun apart and makes it stand out when it's, compared to other like firearms. And it's that port cut into the slide and into the barrel. Overall, awesome shooting gun. We've done a couple other videos on this when we first released it, and I had a really good time shooting it. And at first I was honestly a little bit skeptical, thinking, it's just going to be like another Glock. It's just going to be, and at the time I was being a little ignorant and didn't really enjoy shooting Glocks much. And it's really grown on me a lot more. I actually just recently bought a Glock, and you'll see that in the next portion of this video. But more about this Dusk 19R with the black slide. So 3.9-inch barrel. The barrel is 416 stainless steel. It is a PVD coated and absolutely solid. Slide 17.4 stainless steel with a great coating on it as well. Serrations on the front and the back. On the top for the iron sights, it's the night vision, but it's a Lone Wolf stealth series of night sights. And the nice part about them is they are lower 1/3 co-witness if you're running something like an RMR or the Hollison footprints or Hollison optics with the RMR footprint. It's going to have that lower 1/3 co-witness, which is very nice. So the grip itself, the angle, why I really like this, and I think why I enjoyed it a lot at the start, is a 19-degree grip angle, which is going to put this a little bit more into that straight up and down position. Something a little bit different than what you would see with the standard Glock. The grip texture, I like an aggressive grip texture, and this Dusk 19R has just that. That grip texture is the Lone Wolf grip texture, and it is, it's not like sandpaper aggressive, but it's very aggressive. It's essentially shaped in like a bunch of little triangles, or pyramids, I should say, and it just gives an awesome feel when it comes to that. Going down, so the back side here, when you buy this handgun, it does ship with a bigger back strap, which is going to give you a little bit more of a palm swell, which personally, that is where this gun shoots a lot better for me. Just in my bigger hands, this feels a little bit smaller. And when I do swap out that rear back strap there, it creates a much better feel in general for me. So I'm a big fan of that aspect. The grip texture is going to be transferred on both sides, where you have kind of like a subtle thumb shelf, almost like a recessed / built-in gas pedal. So it's a little bit different in the sense of it's not protruding out like you would normally see, but it still functions very well as a gas pedal when you press out. So kind of a nice touch. It was something that I didn't quite notice at first until I was playing with this the other day, and it's like, man, that actually functions and works. And why I like that is because it's still giving you that benefit. I personally don't care for gas pedals, but for those that do, it's giving you the benefit of having something very similar to a gas pedal, very small, subtle, but giving your thumb a place to go. But it's not creating more material sticking out, which is going to create holster fitment issues, which is the big problem whenever you stray from a big name brand gun, is finding holsters that work. So luckily, the Dusk 19R does fit in almost every single Glock 19 holster that I have tried it on. I haven't tried it on every single one, so you can't quote me on that it fits with every single one. But I've tried it with a bunch of different ones, including the Safariland INCOG, as well as some CNGs. I've tried it with the Tenacors. I mean, a handful of pretty good named holsters, and had no fitment issues. So that's a good point there. Undercut, double undercut with the trigger guard, which is always needed in my opinion. Again, that's a big hands guy kind of thing, but it allows me to get a far better grip on that shorter grip. So my shooting position, my grip is a lot better fitting on there without needing a huge magazine flare. So nice touch. Overall, absolutely solid gun. When it comes to the trigger itself, it is the Lone Wolf 1 trigger. So Lone Wolf logo on there. It is an aluminum style trigger with a flat face, and it's coming in at roughly 3.6 pounds. So pretty acceptable when it comes to a striker fire gun. The take up, there's still some take up there because it is a striker fire gun and you're gonna have that, but that take up is very, very clean. And when you get to the wall, there's about a 30% reduction in peak force to make it go click than what you're gonna see otherwise with like a stock trigger. So overall, really nice trigger, feels pretty good. In this video where I was shooting the original Dusk 19R, strongly enjoyed it. I was just absolutely surprised. That was ignorant Sean, not really loving Glocks, and now I'm liking Glock style stuff and Glocks themselves. So Lone Wolf Dusk 19R, awesome gun. Does ship again with the fatter or the bigger large backstrap. You're going to be getting 3 KCI 15-round Glock style magazines, which function really well, and you can use regular Glock mags as well if you already have them. And like I said, optic ready for you to set up and run a red dot on it. And besides that, I think I covered all the main stuff about this thing. If you haven't shot one yet and you know somebody who has one, try it out because it is awesome. It's a nice shooting little handgun. And that's that, man. Rainier Arms, Lone Wolf Arms, Dusk 19R compensated handgun, now with black slide. Get you one. All right, so next product that I want to talk about is a Safariland and Haley Strategic collaboration, and that is the INCOG X inside the waistband holster with and without the mag caddy. So this one we were actually pretty excited about when it came out. I remember checking it out at SHOT Show, and then when we finally got them in, we liked it so much that I personally bought one, and this is Thomas's, my cameraman's, for his SIG. Awesome holsters, okay? They are very comfortable. They're ergonomics, they're mission adaptable, they're red dot compatible for micros and full sizes as well. They are deep concealment, multi-positional, so you can adjust how it rides, its height and everything. And it's a hybrid thermofolded holster. It is suede wrapped, which is just awesome because right now it's hot. It's like 90s to 100 here with some decent levels of humidity, and it's incredibly comfortable. That suede helps it. I think all of my other holsters, besides ones that I put a barrier on or just straight up Kydex, and they're just uncomfortable when your skin gets hot and clammy and sweaty, and so far, absolutely solid. Thomas, it's been pretty solid for you all summer, right? Yeah. Awesome stuff, and it's funny because a lot of us, as you spend a lot of time in the firearms industry, you start realizing that you're going to own a lot of holsters. Even for one gun, you can have an inside the waistband, outside the waistband, holster that accepts a light, holster that doesn't, mag caddies, maybe no mag caddies, all that different stuff, and you end up getting a lot of holsters for even just one handgun, or a lot of holsters in general for all of your handguns. And I mean, that's what I did here. I know Thomas has multiple holsters for his P365X macro. My Glock, I only have 2 holsters because I just got this Glock, actually because of the video that we did a couple weeks ago, a month ago or something like that, with the Nomad frames. I genuinely loved it and ended up buying a Glock and building it. I'll show you in a minute here. But anyways, back to this holster. So absolutely solid. It is. It has two retentions, which is nice, a passive and an adjustable. The passive and adjustable retentions are going to be based off of the trigger guard as well as off of the ejection port. It actually might be hard to see in the video, but it has a dimpling in here right where the ejection port is, which is just helping with the retention. And we do have these in light bearing and non-light bearing, this one specifically being a light bearing for that TLR7 with the X macro. The caddy is nice because a couple different reasons. One is it's optional. It's not slaved to this holster where you have to run it. It's very easy just to take out these screws. They supply a smaller screw, you switch that out, and you can run a non-caddy if you wanted to for your magazine. So for mine, one of the reasons why I love this holster is that deep concealment aspect. Again, I've ran a lot of different holsters, and with guns like my Staccato P, which I primarily carry until recently, it's a full-size gun with an X300, and I run it a little bit higher in my belt line, and that's just so it's not sticking down so far. I got full range of motion, all that. The reason why I wanted to go to a Glock is, one, everybody has a Glock. Such a common firearm platform that it was just silly for me to be in the firearms industry for as long as I have and not actually own a Glock. So I wanted to buy one, but I did not like how these Glock 19 frames felt. So when I found the Nomad, fell in love, got it, bought a Glock, bought a Nomad frame, put it together, and now that's what I have been primarily carrying. I wanted a smaller gun for times like this when it's hot, it's windy, or I'm wearing a little bit tighter clothing. So long story short, what I like about the deep concealment is, in majority of caddies, when you're running your magazine caddy, your magazine ends up sitting up real high and real tall with your firearm, which is nice for accessibility, but it makes it a little bit more uncomfortable when it comes to your mobility and how much range of motion that you have. This setup that I have is incredibly comfortable. I have full range of motion on how I want to move or how I can move, and my magazine isn't sticking up so far. The reason why I don't like that as much as in all of the CQB, vehicle CQB training that I have done, if you tuck your seatbelt below or behind your gun when you're in the car and then you go to get that, you get that gun out, and then when you go to throw your seatbelt off, a lot of times it's grabbing this additional magazine and ends up tossing it out, and I didn't really like that. So the combination of that plus the not really liking it jabbing up and sticking up, I have found the combination here that I like with this holster, where my magazine sits lower, being a Glock 19 magazine, so it's just 15 rounder, it's not the 17, so it's not extra tall. But how I have it set, it's just absolutely comfortable, and I cannot say that enough, and I'm saying that absolutely genuinely. By far the most comfortable holster so far that I have carried, especially with this Glock. Got a belly button hair on it. Just an awesome holster. So again, it does come with a non-light bearing as well as a light bearing. And for those of you that want to know, that's the build that I ended up doing with my Glock with that Nomad frame, the two-tone. Absolutely love it. This thing is, it's just sweet for being a Glock. Big hands, fit just great. Fits that TLR 7X just great as well. Now, another cool part that I want to bring up about this holster and why I like it is, originally I didn't have a TLR 7 on my handgun yet because I hadn't decided which light I want to go with. All of my other carry guns, every single one of them has an X300 on it. They're just very big lights, and for this gun I wanted something a little bit more compact for times when, again, I wanted to have a more compact gun, which meant if I put an X300 on there, I'm going right back into a full-size holster, like a full-size gun. Don't want that. So didn't know what I wanted to do. I bought this holster without having a light yet, and the best part about it was this gun fit in the holster absolutely tight. It didn't wiggle around, it wouldn't drop out because of that dual retention. It was getting retention on the trigger guard, and it was getting retention on the ejection port, and it wasn't basing it off of the light. So I was able to have this gun holstered safely and confidently without a light on there, and I think that's pretty cool. It's a side note, but it might be a nice little touch for those of us like me who had a gun, needed a holster, but I hadn't decided on what light I wanted to buy. And the downfall to buying another gun is I had to get another red dot, new backup sights, I had to get more magazines, another light, all of that stuff. We all know that, how that goes. But I did it. I bought it, I carried it for about a couple weeks without a light on it, and just recently I put the TLR 7 on there because it's just the right option. Okay, so enough on that rambling. More about the holster. Nice feature that I like is that wedge. They call it a strut, or not the wedge, sorry, the wing. They call it a strut, and it's adjustable. It comes with 3 different lengths. It comes with an 1/8 inch, or widths, I should say. It comes with an 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 3/8 inch, and it's super easy to take out. It just requires a long finger to poke in there. It doesn't really need a tool, but you can pop this out and then you can click a new one in. So depending on what you are wearing for the day, how your belt rides or your pants or whatever it might be, it's a super easy adjustment if you need that to be pushing against your body a little bit more, a little bit less, and that might change. I have found that I like the bigger one on if I'm not running my side, my Mag Caddy. And with the Mag Caddy, I can get away with the medium-sized one, and it fits comfortably all day long. So awesome, just beautifully awesome. And just because I know somebody will mention, well, you won't be able to get to your magazine because it's sitting low, absolutely false. Yes, it's easier. I can get it easier when it's sitting up higher, but I've had no problem with all of the dry reps and shooting that I have done getting to that magazine from this position, even with it lower, because it does stick up enough and I can still get my finger in there and get full grab on it. So don't be worried about that. Magazine caddy is retention. You can change that and adjust it so you can make it as tight as you possibly want. And yeah, I know I'm talking a lot about this holster, and it's simply because I've had a lot of holsters, and it's exciting when you find one that really just starts to cross off a lot of the X's and has been comfortable. A point of friction, no pun intended, has always been summertime for us here in the Midwest. It gets hot and it gets humid, and so far with this suede cover, it's just been great. It's been more comfortable. The suede doesn't really smell weird yet, at least. I know it's weird, but something that you want to consider. It seems to wick the sweat away pretty good, and it's just overall been really solid. Thomas's, same thing. He wears this thing, I think, almost every day since you've gotten it. I think you've worn your Staccato P a couple times. But that suede is still real solid. Like, it's not matted down or gross or like collecting his weird sweats and whatnot. Smell it. Smell it. I'm not going to smell your holster. That's weird, bro. But overall, just a solid product. So like Thomas and I were talking about earlier, it's usually a good sign that the product is liked when we here at Rainier Arms or at the warehouse, as soon as it comes in, we start wanting it and buying it and picking it up for ourselves. So that to me is a pretty solid sign, right? If you're going to go to a restaurant and the guy at the restaurant says, yeah, I don't eat here, it's a good sign that you probably don't need to eat that food either. So we like the stuff. Check it out. Models, I know I'm rambling a lot. Models that we do have the holsters for currently is going to be your SIG P320, your carry, and your compact. Staccato for the C, the CS, and the Staccato P. And for the SIG also is going to be the P365, the 365X, the XL, and the X Macro. And then for the Glock platforms, right now we have 43, the 48, as well as the Glock 17 and Glock 19, all with and without light bearing. So jump on the website, get you one, because honestly, solid, and really not a bad price. I've spent a lot more money on holsters that were not necessarily up to the code or the standards here. Just very easy to take on and off. The plastic clips, they're seeming to be pretty durable. I prefer metal clips personally, but so far these have held up pretty solid. I haven't completely torture tested it, but from what I have seen on other reviews and other people who have had this holster for longer than I have, they've worked out really well for them. So anyways, that's the Safariland in INCOG X, the collaboration between Safariland and Haley Strategic. Jump on the website, take a look at them, because we are going to sell out of them pretty quick. And who knows when we'll be able to get some more. Hopefully Safariland will send them to us really, really soon. All right, guys, thanks for spending some more time with us on another New Products Weekly video. Honestly, we do get excited about a lot of these parts. That's why we personally buy them. So I hope that you do enjoy the time that we take to make these videos and talk about these products. Please jump on the website, take a look at what else we have. We had a lot of new stuff this week, and it was kind of tough to decide and pick what we wanted to carry or cover. And so I know I'm leaving out some awesome stuff on the website. So jump on there, check it weekly, because we do get stuff all the time. Thank you so much for being our customer, and obviously like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and we will see you in the next one. But don't forget about TriggerCon this year here in Wichita, Kansas, September 27th through the 29th. 2 days of exhibit of a show, as well as 1 day at the range. If you went last year, you know how awesome it was. We do have a new location for the show itself, bigger, better, sweeter, and a little bit closer, and it's a little bit more downtown centrally located. The range is going to be the same place. Awesome time. Over 100 vendors, all shooting all of their stuff, and it's just a great time. So thank you so much for spending some time with us on this video, and we'll see you again in the next one.